Many men falter when they allow others to walk in and out of their lives, treating their time and emotions as if they hold no value. They let those who left return, offering even more of themselves out of fear of confrontation, rejection, and loneliness. But you're not like most men. You face loss, betrayal, and abandonment, and you're not here to dwell on your misfortunes. You're here because you've decided you won't be used any longer. In today's video, we'll explore why people come back after they've hurt you and how Stoic philosophy can help you respond with strength and wisdom. The Stoics emphasize the power of controlling your reactions and focusing on what you can change: your inner peace, growth, and self-respect. Understanding their reasons for returning will give you the clarity to stand firm, not out of anger, but with deep wisdom. You're seeking answers. Why did they leave? Why are they back? And how should you respond? You're ready to break the cycle? Stay with us as we dive into how you can reclaim your power and move forward with purpose. Number 1, guilt. The weight of guilt is among the heaviest burdens a person can carry, but here is an undeniable truth. Guilt is not yours to bear. It belongs solely to those who inflicted the wound. When someone walks away, especially in the modern world where fleeting desires often outweigh commitment, guilt does not immediately follow them. In that moment, they believe they are making the right choice. They step away with certainty, perhaps even with arrogance, convinced that they are pursuing something greater. They may think you will be fine, or worse. They may know you will suffer and simply not care enough to stay. But guilt is not an immediate consequence. It is patient, creeping in like a shadow, inescapable and ever-growing. She left, believing there was something better waiting for her. Perhaps it was the thrill of independence, the validation of attention from others, or the illusion that you were easily replaceable. For a time, she feels free, unburdened, convinced of her decision. But reality is seldom as generous as imagination. The attention she sought proves hollow. The freedom she longed for begins to feel like isolation, and then she looks back. She expected you to wait, to reach out, to chase after her. Instead, she finds you unmoved, focused, and growing stronger than before. You are no longer the man she left. You are the man she underestimated, and that is when guilt takes hold. At first, it whispers, "Did I make a mistake?" Then it grows louder. She remembers the nights you stayed up listening, the times you supported her without hesitation, the moments when your presence steadied her in an unstable world. She recalls your patience, your loyalty, your unwavering commitment, and she realizes she did not simply lose a man, she lost the man. But do not mistake guilt for remorse. This is not about what she did to you. It is about how her actions now make her feel. Guilt is not a reckoning. It is a discomfort she seeks to soothe. She does not return because she values you. She returns because she cannot bear the weight of watching you thrive without her. Your success does not bring her joy. It serves as a mirror, reflecting the reality of her own choices. She wonders, is he better without me? Was I ever really the problem? But rather than face the truth with accountability, she takes the easier path. She comes back. She does not return out of love, nor from newfound clarity about your worth. She returns to relieve herself of discomfort, to prove she can still hold space in your life. And here most men falter. They mistake her reappearance for redemption, for a realization of love lost. But it is neither. Her guilt is hers to carry, not yours to absolve. You are not her redemption, her safety net, or her escape from the weight of her own actions. To welcome her back out of pity is not an act of kindness. It is an invitation for history to repeat itself. If guilt was not enough to stop her from leaving, it will not be enough to keep her from doing so again. This is where you must stand firm. Guilt is not a justification for breaking your boundaries. Every time you allow someone to return without consequence, you teach them that your self-respect is negotiable. But a man who understands his worth knows this: his peace, his dignity, and his direction in life are not up for debate. You have already endured the pain of being left behind. You have done the work to rebuild, to strengthen, to move forward. Do not allow guilt, hers or yours, to drag you back into what once broke you. You are not her savior. You are not the answer to her regret. You are the man she could not replace, and that is a truth she will have to live with. When you grasp this, you reclaim something far greater than what was lost. You reclaim your power. In this journey of healing and growth, remember that true strength lies in maintaining your boundaries. Your worth is not negotiable, and no one has the right to make you feel as though you owe them another chance simply because of their guilt. The power of your peace, dignity, and independence is something that should never be compromised. As you move forward, stand tall in the knowledge that the people who left had their reasons, but you are no longer bound by their absence or their return. It is important to recognize that healing doesn't just come from moving on. It comes from knowing what you have built in the process. The foundation you've laid, brick by brick, isn't just a defense against the past. It's a launch pad for your future. You are no longer a man defined by the choices others made, but one who has taken control of his destiny. Stand firm in the belief that you are not just a survivor of what they left behind. You are the architect of your own future, unshaken and unapologetic. Number 2, fear of loss. Guilt might be the first emotion that brings them back, but the second is something much deeper. Fear of loss. This fear is as old as humanity itself, embedded into the fabric of who we are. However, many fail to recognize a key difference. Men and women do not experience this fear in the same way. For a man, fear of loss is linked to genuine connection. When he fears losing someone, it's not just about possession, it's about the emotional investment he's made. His time, his energy, his emotions. He has given a part of himself. He doesn't see his partner as just another person in his life, but as someone interwoven into his very existence. His fear comes from the potential severing of something meaningful, something he intentionally nurtured. However, for women, especially in today's world, where options feel endless and commitment is undervalued, the fear of loss is often less about the person and more about what they represent. It's about the position they held in her life, the stability, the validation, and the control. That's why when she walked away, it wasn't about losing you. It was about gaining something she perceived as better. Freedom, excitement, and possibility. Maybe even an upgrade. She saw leaving as an opportunity, not a risk. But what she failed to realize is that the grass is not greener on the other side. It's greener where it is cultivated. She thought she could easily replace you, finding someone who would offer everything you did, but without the same effort or the same reciprocity. And for a while, she convinced herself that this was the right choice. She enjoyed the distractions and the attention, perhaps telling herself that life had more to offer beyond you. But eventually, reality caught up with her. She realized the world isn't as forgiving as you were. She learned that other men didn't care about her dreams the way you did, that they didn't listen, support, or sacrifice for her the way you did. Suddenly, the man she had taken for granted, the one she thought she could replace, became something else in her mind, irreplaceable. Seeing you thrive, growing stronger and more independent than she ever expected, terrified her. She thought you would crumble without her. Instead, you rose. And that shook her, not because she regretted her choices, but because she no longer had the power to shape the narrative. When you were together, she held the power. She knew you would fight for her, sacrifice for her, and move mountains to make her happy. But now she's just a spectator, watching a life she thought she could walk away from with no consequences. And that realization is what makes her return. Not out of love or redemption, but out of fear. Fear that she's lost her place in your world. Fear that her decision was a mistake. Fear that she can never reclaim what she once had. She returns hoping to reclaim her influence over your life, to make you believe she has changed. She will say the right things, do the right things, and act as though everything is different. But ask yourself this: if she truly valued you, why did she leave in the first place? Why did it take losing you for her to realize your worth? The answer is simple. She never truly saw it until it was too late. But that's not your burden to carry. Her fear is her own to bear. It is not your responsibility to ease her discomfort, to comfort her, or to reassure her that everything will be okay. It is not your job to be the foundation she once took for granted. Your responsibility lies with yourself. Protect your peace. Keep moving forward. Refuse to let her fear dictate your path. Many men make the mistake of mistaking her return as a sign of love. They think that because she's back, it means something deeper. But love doesn't disappear the moment something better seems to appear. Love doesn't walk away and only come back when the consequences become too much to bear. She's not returning because she has had some profound transformation. She's back because she fears losing something she never valued properly. And now you must ask yourself, why should a man who has rebuilt himself welcome back someone who abandoned him? Why should he become a refuge for the very person who left him stranded in the storm? Fear is a powerful motivator, but it's also a selfish one. Let her fear. Let her regret losing you. Watch her from a distance as you rise, becoming everything she never believed you could be. That's not cruelty. It's not revenge. It's justice. It's the natural consequence of her choices. As a man, you owe it to yourself to never again be someone's afterthought. Let her see that your life is flourishing without her, that you can stand strong and thrive independently. Sometimes the only way someone can truly value you is by experiencing the consequences of their own decisions. By allowing her to witness your growth, you give yourself the closure she never thought you would achieve without her. Your strength and success are a reflection of the lessons learned and the choices you've made, not the woman who once walked away. Number 3, validation. While fear may initially drive them back, it is validation that truly pulls them in. This is the most revealing reason of all, as it uncovers one of the harshest truths about human nature, particularly in the realm of modern relationships. When she returns, it's easy to believe she has had an epiphany, that she has come to recognize your worth and now sees the depth of what she lost. However, this is merely an illusion. She doesn't come back because she loves you. She doesn't return because she has had some profound realization about who you are. Instead, she is back for something much more self-serving: validation. Her ego is hungry, and you were once the one who fed it. Although she may convince herself that her time away helped her understand her feelings, the reality is it was never about love or self-discovery. It's about needing constant reassurance that her presence is significant, that she isn't easily replaced. For her, it was never about growth. The distance made her feel unimportant. And now that she realizes that void, she returns, not out of love, but for a boost to her fragile ego. In your presence, she felt valued, cherished, and important. When she walked away, she believed she could find the same elsewhere, that the world would continue to validate her effortlessly without commitment. But she was wrong. The attention she sought turned out to be fleeting, the admiration shallow. She confused temporary desire with something meaningful, only to find herself lost in the very freedom she once craved. And then she looks back. She sees that you, the man she once discarded, have not been waiting. You haven't been longing for her return. Instead, you've moved on, strengthened yourself, and built something even greater in her absence. That's when the discomfort sets in. She is no longer missed, no longer needed, no longer central to your life. And this reality is unbearable, not because she truly longs for you, but because she can't bear the thought of being forgotten. She reaches out, not to reconnect, but to confirm that she still holds space in your heart, that she still matters, that despite everything, you still see her as irreplaceable. When she apologizes, do not be deceived. It's not out of genuine remorse. It's because she wants to hear you say, "It's okay." When she says she misses you, it's not because she's ready to rebuild. It's because she needs the reassurance that you still want her. When she says she wants to try again, it's not about the relationship. It's about proving to herself that she still has a grip on your heart. Her return is not about you. It's about her. And the moment you give in, you lose your strength. You surrender the power you've built in her absence. You didn't grow and rebuild yourself to become a tool for her ego. You didn't endure hardship just to become an emotional safety net for someone who left you behind. You evolved, you grew, and you became stronger, not for her, but for yourself. That is why she cannot bear to see you move forward without her. Understand this. They don't return because they see your value. They return because they cannot handle their own sense of irrelevance. They left thinking you could be replaced. They return because they can't handle the reality that you weren't. But their return is not a sign of love. It is not a second chance. It is a test to see whether you have truly learned to stand firm in your self-worth, whether you've learned to protect your peace, and whether you value yourself beyond the fleeting opinions of those who once discarded you. The answer to this test is simple. You don't need revenge. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to remind them of the pain they caused. All you need to do is keep moving forward. There is no greater power than indifference. Let them regret, let them wonder, let them realize far too late that the man they once walked away from is now out of their reach. This is not bitterness. This is not cruelty. This is justice. Number 4, the fear of regret. Regret is one of the most powerful emotions a person can experience. It's that feeling that follows after a decision has been made and the consequences are fully realized. In relationships, it often appears when someone walks away, believing they'll find something better or more fulfilling elsewhere. At the moment of departure, they may feel confident in their choice, but as time goes by, the truth of their decision begins to sink in. The feeling of regret sets in when they realize that what they had was more valuable than they initially perceived. For many, the first stages of regret are subtle. They may not recognize it immediately, but over time, it builds. They look back and start comparing their new experiences to what they had with you. What they find is that the grass isn't always greener. The new relationships or situations they pursued don't compare to the depth and richness of the connection they once had. In the quiet moments, when the distractions of their new choices fade away, they are left with the haunting realization that they lost something irreplaceable. The fear of regret becomes even more pronounced when they see you moving forward. When you thrive and grow in ways they didn't expect, it challenges their assumption that they could easily replace you. They thought they could walk away and find better, but seeing your success, seeing how you've become stronger, happier, and more fulfilled, serves as a stark reminder that maybe they made a mistake. This fear of knowing that the opportunity to rebuild what was lost is slipping away is enough to push them back into your life. However, when they return, it's not purely about the love they once felt. Their return is driven by an underlying fear that they may never get another chance to make things right. They might have convinced themselves that walking away was the right decision, but the moment they see you thriving without them, they realize that their absence didn't cause you to crumble. Instead, it made you stronger, and that realization stirs regret. They return, not necessarily because they want to rebuild, but because they want to regain control of the narrative. They want to prove to themselves that they weren't wrong in letting you go. The fear of regret is also closely tied to the ego. No one likes the feeling of being replaceable or forgotten. When someone leaves, they may believe that their absence will make little difference to you, that you will simply move on and forget them. But when they see you not only surviving but thriving, they realize they were wrong. They understand now that they were irreplaceable, that the bond they had with you was not something easily replicated. This realization shakes them deeply, and it's this fear of being forgotten that often leads to their return. What they fail to realize, however, is that their return is not about you. It is about their own need for validation and control. The regret they feel isn't necessarily about a deep, genuine love for you, but about the realization that they made a choice they can never undo. When they come back, it's not just for a second chance. It's for a chance to make themselves feel like they haven't lost everything. They want the comfort of knowing that you still care, that you still value them, and that they can somehow reclaim what they thought they could live without. In the end, you must recognize that this return is not a sign of their love for you, but rather an attempt to ease their own regret. It is a reflection of their fear that they made a mistake and that the opportunity to correct it is slipping away. And while it is natural to want to be compassionate, you must not let someone's fear of regret dictate your future. Your peace and growth should be your priority. Let them experience the consequences of their choices while you continue to move forward, building a life that reflects your worth and the lessons you've learned. Number 5, the fear of being forgotten. At the heart of many returns lies a profound fear, the fear of being forgotten. When someone walks away, they often harbor the belief that their absence will create a void in your life that will be impossible to fill. They assume that you will not be able to move on without them. But as time goes by, they start to notice something unsettling. You are moving forward. You're growing, thriving, and succeeding without them. This realization exposes a truth they didn't want to confront. The idea that they are no longer at the center of your world, no longer your focus. This is not just about the fear of being alone. It's a deeper fear of becoming irrelevant, of losing their significance in your life. This sense of irrelevance is painful and unsettling. It is one thing to be alone and missed, but it's another thing entirely to be forgotten and replaced. They had believed that the attention and validation you gave them were irreplaceable, that your life would not move forward without them. But as they watch you build something greater, something better without them, they begin to fear that they were never as central to your existence as they thought. The world has continued to turn without their presence, and they are forced to reckon with their own loss of importance in your life. This fear of fading into the background, of being reduced to a mere memory, is a driving force behind their return. When they come back, it's not to make amends or to rekindle love. It's not about realizing their mistakes or recognizing your value. They come back because they cannot bear the thought of being forgotten. The attention they once received from you is no longer there, and they are desperate to reclaim it. In their mind, your world should still revolve around them, and they want to confirm that they haven't been erased from your life. They need to know that they still matter, that they still have a place in your heart, even if that place is just a shadow of what it once was. The truth is, they are not returning because they see your worth or want to fix the relationship. They return because their ego needs validation. Their self-esteem has been shaken, and they need reassurance that they have not lost their significance. They hope that by reaching out, they can rekindle some sense of importance in your life, even if it's temporary. They want to prove to themselves that they still have control over how you feel, that they have not been completely discarded. In their return, they may offer an apology, but it is rarely motivated by genuine remorse. It is an apology designed to prompt a reaction from you, one that reassures them that they haven't been forgotten. When they tell you they miss you, it's not because they want to rebuild the connection. It's because they want to hear you say that you still long for them. They want to test whether they still have a hold on your emotions, whether they can still evoke the same feelings they once did. But this return is not about the relationship. It's about proving to themselves that they have not lost their place in your heart. The problem with this return is that it threatens your own growth. You didn't rebuild your life to become someone's emotional safety net. You didn't endure the pain of their departure only to become a source of validation for someone who chose to leave. You grew stronger, built something greater, and learned to stand on your own, not for them, but for yourself. This is why their return is so unsettling. It challenges the strength and independence you've cultivated. You did not move forward in order to be at their beck and call, to feed their ego. You move forward to be the best version of yourself, and that version doesn't rely on someone who has already walked away. The key to responding to this return is simple. Continue moving forward. Do not fall into the trap of providing the validation they seek. When they come back looking for reassurance, looking to confirm that they still matter, the best response is to show them that you have already moved past the need for their approval. You no longer need to prove your worth to anyone, especially someone who walked away. Your worth is inherent, not dependent on someone's return. As they realize that you no longer need them to validate your existence, they will understand the true consequences of their actions. If these words have resonated with you, it's because deep down, you already know the truth. You've always possessed the strength to walk away from what no longer serves you. You've always had the ability to stand firm in your worth. You didn't need this message to find that power. You only needed it to remind you of what's always been within you. But growth doesn't stop at awareness. It's an ongoing journey, one that demands discipline, clarity, and the determination to choose peace over chaos, self-respect over convenience. The world will continue to test you. People will come and go, driven by their own fears, regrets, and desires. But none of that defines you. What truly defines you is how you respond. Will you allow yourself to be dragged back into cycles of regret, Or will you move forward with purpose, unshaken by those who failed to see your worth? The choice is yours and yours alone. If you found value in this message, if it's given you the clarity to reclaim your power, don't keep it to yourself. Support this channel by subscribing. In doing so, you'll help spread this message to those who need it most. Men who are still caught in the cycle, searching for the strength to break free. Your growth is our mission. Together we can reach more. Together we can build a mindset that's unbreakable. A life driven by principle, not impulse. A life not defined by the approval of others, but by the quiet certainty of a man who knows his worth. Subscribe, stay focused, and above all, keep moving forward.